A few months ago, I found myself in a place that had become far too familiar for me. I was completely stuck. I was just turning 25, watching my days blur into each other with big goals in my head, but no progress to show for them. I felt like my life was slipping through my fingers, and honestly, it was scary. I knew I needed to turn things around, but honestly, the idea of change felt so overwhelming when I was stuck in my negative cycle. Where do you even start when everything seems so out of control? That's what this video is about. Spoiler, it's not by gaming and watching Netflix. I'm going to share the small yet powerful steps I've taken to reorient my life intentionally, piece by piece. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what I've been doing and how you can start making changes in your own life today. Let's go. Now, let me set the scene. A few months ago, my life was looking pretty bleak. I spent my days inside gaming endlessly. I was ordering Uber Eats every day, barely moving my body, and my sleep schedule was non existent. But get this, right? I had the nerve to sit there and fantasize about this fulfilling and amazing life that I was going to live. I even felt that I deserved that life. Obviously, I wasn't doing anything that would actually get me there. It was all just daydreams and fantasies. The reality is that I was stuck in an endless cycle of wanting to change but not taking any action at all. There was no link between what I said I wanted and what I actually did. It's almost like it just all felt too overwhelming, so much so that I didn't even want to start. What I thought I knew, but I didn't actually fully realize back then, was that these big, dramatic transformations that we all dream of don't actually happen overnight. I know that sounds obvious, but they're built on the back of the small, even minuscule, consistent wins. There's this concept called the slight edge. It's the idea that tiny, mundane, daily habits compound over time into big changes. Now, everything is always in motion, always changing. So, this compounding effect is a result of consistent action, whether good or bad. In the grand scheme of things, each of your actions is either bringing you up or down, towards success or towards failure over time. So, for me, it started with the simplest things: walking every day, journaling to clear my thoughts, and sticking to a basic morning routine that would set the tone for the day. Just a nice cold shower, some light morning stretches, and meditating for a few minutes. At first, it felt really insignificant. Like, how could these little actions possibly make a difference? And realistically, I guess that depended on my goals. Of course, those weren't the daily steps that were connected towards, making me financially free or attaining my creative goals. However, they were the steps that I needed at that stage to influence my state of mind and put me in a place where I could then implement the next steps that would move me towards my larger goals. That momentum I built made me see the light and made me want to keep going. So I highly recommend starting small. If you're in a place where you're feeling despair, not really feeling up to going for that big step, or maybe you're not even in a state of mind to think about what you want for your life, yeah, I highly recommend starting small, getting your baseline state, up. Eventually, though, I realized I had to make a more drastic choice. I couldn't keep holding on to the things that were holding me back. I took an honest look at my life and I asked myself, what's the common thread between all the things that have held me back from achieving my goals? What's the one thing that if I removed it would have the biggest impact on my life? For me, it was gaming. It had always been gaming. The decision had to be made, and it wasn't easy. I couldn't keep lying to myself and saying that I could just manage the distraction and minimize my playtime. I decided to stop gaming and I got rid of my PC. It really was a huge step for me, although it doesn't sound so big now. So I want you to ask yourself, what's the biggest thing holding you back? What's the one thing that, if you let it go, would change your life for the better? If you're feeling up to it, let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear your story. Now, here's the thing about distractions: they don't just disappear. When you get rid of one, you'll quickly find something else to take its place. That's exactly what I did. Even after I quit gaming, I found myself reaching for my phone or binging YouTube, watching Netflix, or just mindlessly scrolling. I was so used to being distracted that it took a while to adjust to my new rhythm. Am I doomed? No, of course not. It was part of the process, and it still is. We reduce our distractions the best we can, and we keep going from there. I made substantial progress by removing one big obstacle. We should make it a habit to congratulate ourselves for that sort of progress. The idea then for dealing with distractions is making sure you're aware of the time you're spending a little mindlessly and of the things that you're doing that don't really serve you or even relax you properly. You keep tabs on yourself and you adjust as you go. Of course, how can you even say you're distracted if you haven't even defined what you should be spending your attention on? This is where building a structure for your days is super helpful. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How can you build a structure if you haven't defined the goals that you're going to work towards with that structure? I had made a lot of space in my life, freed up time to actually get things done. But how was I going to determine what those things were? Here's a quick rundown of how you can go about it. What do you want your life to look like in 5 years? Conjure a vision of your overall North Star and imagine what different areas of your life might look like. Think about your health, your skills and knowledge, your friends and family, your career, and any other area that's relevant to you. Now, if you were on track to getting that life in 5 years, what would your life look like next year? What would you be working on? What milestones would you have already crossed? From there, you can continue to break this down into smaller chunks. You go smaller and smaller all the way until you know exactly what you're doing with your next 15 minutes, even. You want to break your goals down into steps so small that you know what you should be doing right now to get there. This is just a brief look at how you can break down and define your goals. But if you want me to go in depth about that, I can make a video about it. Just go ahead and drop a like and subscribe so you know when I drop that video. So essentially, you'll have an idea of where you want to be broken down within each section of your life that's important to you. I want you to pick 1 to 3 key areas where some focus would bring the biggest positive effect in your life and, focus on those. So start there. For me, it was my health and getting some routines in place. To give you an example for health, I just obviously knew I needed to work out more. I knew I needed to walk. I knew I needed to watch my caloric intake. So those are the things I focused on. And you break it down into steps so that you have a system and you always know what it is I need to do right now if I want to work towards that goal. And same goes for routines. I just broke down the routines, created a system for myself that, you know, was going to take me where I was headed and where I wanted to go intentionally. Now, once you know where you're going, you know where to put your focus and what daily actions are going to take you there. These goals gave me a direction, but I needed a system that made it actually manageable to stick to them and get there. That's where structure came in. Building a structure for my days is the best way for me to stay on track. In essence, it's a time blocking technique. I take all of my tasks that need to be done in a certain day and I place them in time where I can easily look at them and visualize it and see that I'll be working on this task at this time and another at another time. This forces you to be realistic with what you can do with your time. You can't just make a to-do list with the millions of things that you have to do and expect yourself to do it today because you know how much time each task takes and you can see it on your 24-hour schedule. So being gentle with yourself and adjusting when you see that you aren't actually adhering to the schedule you set for yourself is super important. You should be able to shift things around based on the inevitable and uncontrollable variables that pop up unexpectedly in daily life. So your schedule or structure should be a system that you can apply no matter the changes in your life, no matter the unexpected changes. You already have access to the effective and simplest tool for this, Google Calendar. The most important step here, in my opinion, is to lay out the foundation. It's where I put down all the routines and all the things that I do either on a daily or weekly basis, so they're there set in stone every day. I want to have everything that I know needs to be done there plotted ahead of time. So this is your morning routines, your dinner time, your lunch breaks, your walk, your showers. Even your sleep time should be taking up space alongside any non-negotiable that aligns with your goals. Of course, it's a calendar. I want to respect it, but I don't want to feel burdened by it. Again, this is where being lenient with yourself can come in. It's a tool. I had to realize that if any certain thing needed to be moved around on a specific day for a specific reason, then I could do that. If you're too rigid with it, then your structure will just break and then you'll give up on it. Allow yourself the flexibility to move things around and add one off tasks. And for the love of God, don't overburden yourself with unrealistic expectations. Start slow by scheduling the things you know you can do. By doing all the things you told yourself you'd do, you build confidence and momentum. One nice way to ease into this is habit stacking, aka building new habits around something you're already doing. For example, since I was already brushing my teeth, thank God, I added stretching and meditation. So, where am I now? I'm working again. I've lost 30 pounds since August. I'm sticking to a diet. I'm working out every day. And I'm spending quality time with my girlfriend. I've actually even started to see my family again. I use Notion to handle my tasks and track my routines. I'm even learning a new language. And while I'm proud of how far I've come, I know that I'm not done yet. And in the past, maybe that thought would have, depressed me, but actually, I see a lot of hope in it and I'm eager to move forward and build. There's still so much I want to improve, and that's okay because I will. The most important thing I've learned is to be graceful on this journey. We're constantly learning, growing, and improving, and that implies that we're not perfect. We aren't immediately at our destination just by wishing it, and we won't get everything right all at once. So acknowledge the progress you make, be grateful, and then look ahead to see what the next thing you can improve might be. Change is always possible, no matter how stuck you feel. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just start small. One walk, one journal entry, one habit that aligns with your goals. You'll be amazed at how much momentum you can build. The only way to create the life you desire is one step at a time. If you made it this far, let me know down in the comments. What's one habit that you want to change in your life? And if you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this. I'm here to share a realistic, gentle approach to genuine growth, where we embrace the present moment and take real steps towards actualizing our best lives. Thanks for watching.